Now, on Thursday, we reported a decision of US Secretary of State John Kerry to recognise atrocities committed by so-called Islamic State as genocide against religious minorities in the Middle East. Well, meanwhile, in the British Parliament, a cross-party group in the House of Lords wants a similar declaration by the UK government. There was a unanimous vote along similar lines in the European Parliament last month as well. However, the British government has so far refused to make such a declaration, insisting it's a matter for international judicial bodies. And these are live pictures that we're looking at right now of the House of Lords, where that amendment to the bill is going to be debated. Well, before the American administration reached a determination of genocide, the US Congress first took evidence from a range of human rights groups in Washington. Jacqueline Isaac is a lawyer from California who recorded witness statements of survivors from the Christian and Yazidi minorities in Iraq. She spoke to Ikhlas, a Yazidi survivor who has found asylum in Europe. In a recording made by Jacqueline, she described how her family was kidnapped on the Sinjar plane in Iraq and what then happened to them. And to her, aged just 15 years old, a warning: her evidence is disturbing.
They kidnapped us. They kidnapped and killed my father and my 2 brothers, and then they took us. You saw this? Yes, I saw my father killed in front of my eyes. It was very, very difficult. I was gripping my brother's hand and told him never let me go, never. Yet he let me go because they killed him. The sounds of the gunshots, they will never leave my ears. Never. They locked us up in the Badouche prison. The Badouche prison. We were there for 10 days. They put you in the government prison? They took over the government prison and put you in it? Yes, all of us. Boys and girls? Boys, girls, children, women, all of us. How did you feel when you were in prison? I was in such pain. I always ask myself, why did this happen, especially to us girls? What did we do to deserve this? They ruined our lives. They raped us. They left us with nothing. They took everything. What did we do to deserve this? Did we do anything? Did we deserve to be orphans with no family, no fathers, raped? I saw with my own eyes a man over 40 years old, maybe 42 or 45. He took a girl 10 years old. She was screaming and crying, and I couldn't help her. What law would allow a man to use the name of Allah, to call on Allah and then kill the men and rape the women? What law? What religion? Tell me, what religion would allow that? They don't have a religion.
Ikhlas there, talking to the lawyer Jacqueline Isaac, harrowing stuff. Well, let's talk now to Congressman Chris Smith. He's a Republican who sits on the Congressional Foreign Affairs Committee. He joins me live now from Washington. Chris, really good to talk to you. I know that you listened to that testimony from Ikhlas when Jacqueline first put it before Congress. I know that you've also been instrumental in pushing for this declaration of genocide. On Thursday, John Kerry deemed the actions of ISIS against the Yazidis and other minorities in Iraq and Syria as genocide. But what does that mean? What's now going to happen in practical terms?
It's a great question, and I have been pushing. I've chaired 5 congressional hearings going back to 2013, asking that such a designation be made. We missed it on Rwanda. We missed it on Srebrenica, which came later, and I've been to those places. And the international community needs to rally at long last, and we welcomed Secretary Kerry's statement on Thursday, which followed, as you pointed out, a unanimous vote, Republicans and Democrats alike, in the House of Representatives. There are a number of things. You know, the Genocide Convention couldn't be clearer that those who are responsible for these crimes of genocide need to be held personally responsible. There needs to be a prosecution. The ICC is one venue, the International Criminal Court. I think, and I actually have held hearings on this as well, and a resolution passed on Monday, the same day the Genocide Convention, the Genocide designation passed. It was my resolution calling for a tribunal similar to Yugoslavia, Rwanda, and Sierra Leone so that we can get convictions, begin doing the hard work, and it is hard work, of building a case against these individuals, do it aggressively, have the nimbleness that these ad hoc regional courts have shown, and I think that will make a difference. And we also be looking at those who have now been designated as targets of genocide to provide them relief, third country processing, asylum, and get them to a place where they can continue living without rape and murder.
Because, Chris, it is a great symbolic step getting John Kerry to use the word genocide. The last time the US used it was in 2004 when Colin Powell referred to Darfur as a genocide. But is this going to mean further boots on the ground? Is this going to mean that the victims of this genocide are given asylum in the States? What does it mean? And also, what do you want to see from...
No, that's a great question. I do think it means we need to provide asylum for those, because, I mean, if this isn't a well-founded fear of persecution, the definition of asylum, I don't know what is. But it means that all of us, the whole international community, including the United States, needs to step up. Where has the referral, even for an ICC designation, so that the International Criminal Court can take this on? Has it happened? I think that would be a flawed approach, but at least it would be something. I think the regional courts are one way of going. We would need to be looking at a safe haven, not like Srebrenica and the UN safe havens during the Bosnian War, which turned out to be mustering areas where people were slaughtered. So there needs to be, we need to double down. And of course, there is a ceasefire in effect, except against al-Nusra and the ISIS. And that's a good thing, and I'm glad that was brokered. But there's much more need to be done. We're talking about upwards of 470,000 people dead, high-end estimate. The UN doesn't count anymore. They felt it was just too unreliable. But more needs to be done. And humanitarian access, there are a number of areas where that access has not been provided. Pressure needs to be put on the Assad government. Most of the killings in Syria are the result of his barrel bombing and killing and his troops. So, that a tribunal would include all players, just like we did in Yugoslavia, just like we did in Sierra Leone and everywhere else.
OK, Chris, I'm afraid we're going to have to leave it there. Congressman Chris Smith joining us there live from Washington. I should also mention that last month, the Council of Europe and the EU Parliament also deemed these similar offences as a genocide, and this amendment to a bill currently debated in the House of Lords here in the UK today as well.